10 things retirees need to spend less on in retirement than when they were working. Guys, we can save ourselves a lot of money if we cut back or totally eliminate these 10 things I'm going to talk about. I don't know about you, but I have been spending less, a lot less in retirement. If you haven't, check out some of these 10 things and maybe it'll help you get your costs down. Gonna have to be speaking a little loud here because that running water, as you can see, if you've watched any of my past videos, probably looks a little higher this time. Snow melt. We are still getting snow melt coming down, so it's rushing pretty good. Here's number 1. Property maintenance services. What is that? Hiring people to cut your lawn. Hiring people to landscape. You know what? You're retired now. You have all the time in the world, and if you're still in good health, why not take care of some of those things yourself, right? You can cut back on a lot of costs like that. You know, when you're working, you might not have time to do that, or it's the weekend, man. I want to have a good time when I'm working. I don't want to be doing all this yard maintenance stuff. Yeah, try doing it yourself. Now, also, added bonus, it can keep you in shape. Awesome! Number 2, multiple vehicles. Do you really need 3? Okay, 3 definitely, but do you really need 2 vehicles now that you are retired, you and your spouse? I don't know. Before, yeah, you had to go to work. Maybe your spouse was working too. You know, maybe when you had kids, you had 3 vehicles. Do you really even need 2 now? Right? Think about it, guys. That can cut down on a lot of money, not just the cost of another car. Let's say you had a car loan or something, but car maintenance, right? That's a lot of money, especially if you got an older car. Think about it. It'll save you a lot. Hey, for those of you who see me for the first time, my name is Duane, and this is a retirement channel for retiring on moderate income. If you think you might like that, think about subscribing and like the video. And if you really like it, down here are 2 other ways you can support this watery high desert channel. Number 3, when you travel in retirement, don't have to do it on peak season, do you? Not like when you were working. You know, a lot of people take their vacation in the summertime, right? Peak season. Or what about over the holidays? Peak season. Guys, be smart with your travel now. You got all the time in the world. Arrange it around the non-peak season time, right? Save yourself a ton, dare I say a ton of money. Number 4, books. Okay, now for me, this is a big deal. Switching hands, yes, always exciting. This is a big deal. You know what has been my number 1 purchase in the last 10 years? My Kindle. I used to have bookshelves full because I am an avid reader. I will be reading 2-3 hours a day, you know. When I switched to a Kindle, all that space, now you got space, basically, to do whatever you want, put whatever you want there. If you don't want to get a Kindle, library, how about the library instead of spending all the money on books, right? And also, let me tell you, with Kindle, almost every day I will get an email from them saying what they have on deal now, the books. Most of the things I buy on Kindle are $1.99 or less. Yeah, and if you don't want to buy, you can always get what's called Kindle Unlimited, and you pay a certain amount a month. You can read as many books as you want. I like to have the books because what I usually do is I'll go back later on. My memory's getting worse. Like 3-4 years into it, I will remember what was a good book, but I can't really remember what made the book good. So I'll reread it. So books. Number 5, new clothes and accessories. This one's obvious, right? You're not working anymore. So do you really need all the latest looks? Accessories. Do you really need to accessorize that much when you're sitting around, you know, barbecuing in your backyard 5 days out of the week? No, you can cut back on a lot of money by doing that, guys. Number 6, when you are retired, Again, I'm shouting, I know, and I hope you can hear me over this water, but I can't pass this up. The scenery's too good. Pricey gifts. When you were working, you had that steady paycheck coming in, right? Wouldn't even really think twice about pricey gifts, maybe to relatives, grandchildren even now. When you're in retirement, if you're living on moderate income, yeah, you got to keep every expense under tap, right? Or under wraps. How's that? So pricey gifts, yeah, still give them gifts, but do gifts have to be pricey to be memorable? To say your grandchildren, even still your children, right? Or even friends. No, there's a lot of things you can give that don't have to have big price tags on them, right? So cut down, guys, cut down on those pricey gifts. Number 7, collectibles. What do I mean by this? Well, you could have like a collection of World War or Civil War tiny little statuettes that you love, and they might even be worth something. But again, we're talking about limited income in retirement, okay? Do you really want to be adding all this, like, let's say, non-essential stuff? Number 1, you might not have space. Number 2, if you're later in years, is it really going to bring you that much joy? Cut back on that. And you know what you could do now? Actually, what I've trying to have been convincing my dad of, this goes along, collectibles, it can go along with inheritance, right? I'm trying to convince my dad, give up the stuff now instead of waiting until you're gone as far as inheritance goes. Wouldn't it bring you more joy, guys, if you could, just the joy of giving your inheritance to your children or whoever else you're going to leave it to, your wife even? Doesn't that give you more joy than having to wait until you're gone? It would with me. Number 8, warehouse, store, memberships, like a Costco. I think most of us, when you're retired, you will be an empty nester, right? Do you really need to buy in bulk now? And I'll bet you guys, for some of you, that buying in bulk is probably a lot of stuff going to waste now, right? Do you really need to get all that stuff in bulk anymore? Yeah, eliminate those warehouse expenditures. Number 9, family cell phone plans. Actually, some of you still might have your adult children on a family cell phone plan. They're adults now. Do you really need to do that? And I'm sure you can save a lot of money if you cut out stuff like that. They are an adult, right? This goes back to even this is off topic, but I do have a friend, or actually I know of a person who has her adult children still living with her. She is about 60. I think one of her kids is 42. The other one is like 38. Okay, if that's really what you want to do, fine. But if you're doing it because they can't get on their own 2 feet and get out in the world, is that something you really want to do anymore? Stuff like a cell phone plan, family cell phone plan, in my opinion, that should be cut off when they're like in their early 20s, right? To each his own. I know you guys can leave me comments, to each his own. But that stuff you don't have to deal with, or shouldn't have to deal with, when you're retired. And number 10, garden center / florists. Okay, when you're working, you go to an event, you go to maybe even dinner with a prospective date. You might spend a lot of money on just going to a florist, or you might be, putting it all over your property. Nice, beautiful flowers in the living room, in the TV room, whatever it is you want to do. Hey, you're retired now. You're going to have all the time in the world. If that is your thing, flowers, you got all the time in the world now. Plant them your own. Plant them on your own, guys. Goes along with yard maintenance, right? Forget about the pricey stuff. All these 10 things are basically trying to help you conserve your moderate income nest egg. right? We can't be spending money on pricey stuff. Now, yes, there will be some indulgences. Hey, take an indulgence once a month, twice a month. But these are talking about everyday things that we don't need to spend the money on anymore, okay? So think about some of those guys. Might make a big difference. And as always from, in this case, the watery high desert, we got this.